The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar session. Today, we will be discussing how to set up a project schedule to be used in my organization without the use of Project Online. So here we are only talking about the project desktop client. My name is Rafael Santos. I am a Microsoft Project MVP and also a principal consultant here at Sensei Project Solutions. And today I will be hosting you and we will be working together during this 30 minutes webinar. Before we get started, I wanted to say a big thank you for all of you dedicating some time to join me today. And I would like to wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are on the globe. So let's move forward here, everybody. As I said, my name is Rafael Santos, and I wanted to do a quick introduction about myself. Also, regarding the presentation, if you do have any questions, if there is anything you'd like to bring into the discussion, please feel free to use the chat window. I will be monitoring the questions and I can definitely answer them. But as I was saying, my name is Rafael Santos. I work as a principal consultant here at Sensei Project Solutions. So I started working for Sensei in the year 2015. I am a Microsoft Project MVP since 2016. So we are only 28 project MVPs in the entire world. I have participated in projects to use or to adopt the PPM platform, Project Online and Project Server, in 3 different continents. So I have been working in Africa, I have been working here in South America, as well as in North America, as I am working now for Sensei. I am based in the city of São Paulo, Brazil, and my email address is rafael.santos@senseiprojectsolutions.com. So if you do have any questions, if there's anything that you'd like to discuss after our webinar is finished, you can just reach out to me. I will be more than happy to be providing you more assistance. I wanted to talk about my company, Sensei Project Solutions. So Sensei helps organizations achieve their strategic goals through work and project management best practices using Microsoft technology. So we are truly experts in Project Online, Project Server, as well as Project Desktop. Sensei has been awarded with the PPM Partner of the Year award in 2014, and we have been nominated as finalists in both 2015, 2017, and 2018. So we have more than 500 PPM deployments, we have more than 5,000 users trained, and we have a truly global impact. We are also Microsoft partner with Gold competency in the project and portfolio management, but we also have a partnership, or we are also partners of Microsoft in application development and collaboration and content, which is basically coming from SharePoint. So also, I would like to just quickly introduce you on what we do here at Sensei and what we offer to our customers and to general project management community. So our work is organized in 4 different pillars. So we work with services, solutions, training, and apps. So we have PPM consulting and managed support in when it comes to services. We have a couple of different solutions, including report packs with Excel files and Power BI files. We have Reporting Hub. We have the Agile PPM, the Power BI Content Pack, and also our Jumpstart Beacon deployment. We have training. You can use, or you can take your training with us virtually or on site. It depends on your need and your preference. And we also have a few apps that that are used, or that are meant to be providing a very good experience for people using Project Online and enhancing their experience and enhancing their power when they are using Project Online and Microsoft Project to conduct their project management activities, their day-to-day activities. So now that we have done all of the uh, presentations and we are in touch with each other, I will get started with our agenda. So the agenda here, the agenda for today and the presentation that I have prepared will be discussing the concepts of proactive project management and also the proactive scheduling. So, in today's session, the main objective will be for us to understand as an organization how we can set up or what we should be taking care of when setting up our project schedule to be used in an organizational context. So, if I am a project manager and I have a few project managers working with me in my organization, but we do not have a PPM tool such as Project Online or Project Server, how can we be standardized? So how can we all be using the same thing? How can we be all at the same page so there are no discrepancies in between what we are doing? So this is what today's session is going to be all about. We will be talking about the importance of standardization, as I said, and then we will be discussing each topic individually. So we will talk about project options, about project metadata, about project communication, about project reporting, and also additional elements that we can configure. As I said, if you do have any questions, if there is anything you'd like to bring to the discussion, please just feel free to do so. Just use the chat window. I will be more than happy to be assisting you and to be discussing things in a more clear way. So, the concept of proactive project management and scheduling, it's kind of a philosophy for project managers to set the best practices so then they can successfully use project desktop to plan, execute, monitor, and control their initiatives. As I said, if I do have a PPM platform such as Project Online or Project Server, I might have my project administrator, my project online, or my PPM. Let's call this person the PPM administrator, who is the person who will be doing all of the setups behind the scenes. So then when I am as a project manager using the environment, using the system, I can just consume information as it has been provided to me. So when you have a PPM platform, you have a way to centralize the information. You have a way to configure and standardize your solution, your software, so then all PMs will be using the same standards. But if I'm working in an organization, it can be a small organization or it can also be a very large or a huge organization, but we are not using a PPM platform, then it's I would say it's a little bit harder for us to be all at the same page, even though if we are 2 project managers or 3 or 10 project managers, because when it comes to, for example, indicators, when I am measuring the health of my schedule, I might be using a particular uh, measure. I will be using a different metric to say, is my project out of schedule? How am I performing, or how are my projects performing in terms of schedule or in terms of costs? But if I'm working with another person from my team, this person might be using a different rule, right? This person might be using a different criteria. So we need to identify and we need to put together a way that we can create a centralized schedule that has all of the standards and all the items that have been defined in our project management process, in our organizations, I would say project management process, so then we can be all at the same page. And it's kind of an analogy that we use here for when we use, for example, the printed directions and the GPS system, right? So if you are going somewhere and you print the directions in a piece of paper, for example, its information is going to be static and it's going to be out of sync if you do a wrong turn or if there is a detour, right? Also, you do not have the update arrival time or distance, so it's very hard for you to achieve your point because you do not know where you are going, or where how things are going if you take a different path or a different route. And the concept of proactive project management and scheduling is kind of using a GPS system, because you know where you should be going to, but if you take a wrong turn, or if you are going in the wrong path, it's going to be basically tracking your actual progress. It's going to be rerouting you, and it's going to be providing you an accurate forecast of arrival time. So if we are all on the same page and we are kind of using the same GPS system in our organization, we do have a chance to deliver better projects. We do have a chance to deliver to get better results from that. So the question will be how to standardize our team without a PPM platform, and this is how we will be talking about here. So the first thing we need to pay attention to is the project options, right? So this is something that people who are new users of project, they are not very well versed on this. So sometimes they just do not know that they can do lots of different modifications within project options. So then project will be calculating things in a better way, and will be calculating the information or the things that we have in the schedule in a more accurate way, right? Project options will be affecting how our schedule display information and how it does calculate things. So as it is stated in here, it's very important for us to understand the options, the general options, and then set the appropriate defaults. When it comes to the project options, we might have different options in there. We have general options, we have display options, but the bigger one, the one that's the most important for us, will be the schedule options, where we can define what's going to be the default task type, where we are going to be saying if we are going to be using fixed units or fixed work or fixed duration and things like that. So just for us to do a quick view on this topic particularly, I will go ahead here and open up my project professional, and I do have a project here that I have saved that I wanted to show to you guys. So let me click on option. All right. And then I have this blank project here. So basically, this is a blank project. I am getting started from scratch. And if I'm getting started from scratch, I will have nothing, right, in terms of configuration in my project schedule. So by default, every time I do get started with a new task in my schedule here, so for example, if I say kickoff, it's going to be a manual scheduled task, and meaning that it's not going to have a duration, and it's not going to have a start and finish date. So it's always going to be something that I have to turn on manually to be an auto schedule task. So then it gets its duration, it gets its start and finish dates automatically, and then the system is calculating it itself. So this is one of the things that we have to pay attention to. And if we are creating a schedule that's going to be used by the entire organization, that's going to be like our source of truth, we will have to pay attention to this and do a few modifications here. So one of the things that I like changing, or some of the things I like changing in the options, in the menu of Microsoft Project, is I go here to File, and then we have Options. And then underneath options, we will have the main elements that are available by the software. I'm not sure why it's taking so long to open the dialog, but let's move on. So things that we can define, for example, we can define how the date format is going to be appearing to us, right? Are we going to see like, the day, and also one digit for the month, two digits for the day, and two digits for the year? Or do we have a preference to use something with hour? So we can change this. But the main items or the main elements that we should be pay attention to are the are available here in the schedule. So for example, how new tasks are going to be created? Are they always going to be manually scheduled? That's not a best practice when using Microsoft Project. So I would say, using auto schedule tasks would provide us with better results. Also, what's the default task type that we will be using in our organization? Is this going to be fixed units? Is this going to be fixed duration? Is this going to be fixed work? So if you are working in an IT company, in an IT organization, or if you do care about how people are assigned, how many hours I'm using from each resource, if I'm doing capacity and planning, for example, then our recommendation would be to use fixed work, because this would provide us a better input for our project. So there are more items that we could be taking care here in the advanced option, but this is general configuration for our schedule, and this is something that we should be paying attention to. So this is one of the things that we should be configuring in our project or in our schedule, or in the schedule that will be used as the standard, the gold template for our organization. Moving forward, we have here, so let me go back to the slide deck. Moving forward, the second thing that we should be paying attention to and we should be configuring is the project metadata. So project metadata must reflect the standards that we use in our organization, and it does include the working time or the calendar, right? The dates of exception that we have in our organization because of the holidays we have throughout the year, and also the custom fields and formulas that we will be using. And a question comes here, which is in your organization. So think about your organization. When you are setting up a schedule indicator, for example, right? When you are setting up a formula to calculate the health of the schedule in your organization. So what's the rule that you guys use? Do you use a rule that says, that sets three icons like red, yellow, and green? If that's the case, what's the rule that works behind the scenes for the calculation to be done? The second question is, if you do have more project managers in your organization, do they follow the same rules? Uh, are the same criteria being applied for each one of them? So this is something that's very important, because when I present the results of my schedule, or when I present the health of my project to my executive committee, for example, the information available in there should be the same as the one that's being presented by a partner of myself, right? Or a partner of me. So if there is somebody who works with me and he's presenting his results, the formula, the criteria should be the same, because we are using exactly the same criteria. So does your organization have this particular scenario implemented? If not, this is something that we need to do. We have to take care about the project metadata in terms of the custom fields we will be using in our organization, as well as calendars, the exceptions, and the dates which will be considered as a holiday throughout the organization. So we need to pay attention to that. And just going back to project, of course, that if we go here to calendar and I am getting started from scratch, I won't have anything configured in terms of calendars, for example. So for example, on the 25th, it's going to be Christmas, but project doesn't know that, so I have to do this configuration in an organizational level. Also, if I am playing with custom fields, project doesn't have any custom fields at all, so I would have to create my personal custom fields here to be used, as I said, in my organization. Also, something else that we need to take care of, project communication. This is very important, right? Why I am talking about project communication, and what is it? So project communication is how people use project and how they understand the information which is available in there. This will be including custom tables, custom filters, maybe highlights as well, and custom views. Because what I see happening in most of the organizations is, say that I'm using Microsoft Project and I am using the Gantt chart, which is the default view for project. So I'm using here the Gantt chart, and I need to bring something, or I need to understand what the cost of my project is. So what I see people doing is, I see they adding a new column within the Gantt chart and adding, for example, the information related or regarding cost. If they are looking for work, they do basically the same thing, right? So I go ahead here and I enter cost, and then I enter work. And if I'm looking for something like the baseline finish, I just go ahead here and enter the baseline finish. And what's going to be happening here is I will be messing with the standard view of Microsoft Project, and I will be putting information here that doesn't make sense because they do not have a subject. They do not follow a standard. They do not have like a standardization. Am I talking about cost, or am I talking about work, or am I talking about the schedule itself, the health of the schedule? So the best thing to do here would be for us as an organization to organize or to create different views that would group the information based on their subjects. Of course, that if you are using project, out of the box, we will have some tables that we will organize our information in terms of cost, for example, or in terms of work, right? Or in terms of summary. That's pretty cool, but we might need something else. If we have created, for example, a custom field, we need to include this custom field here. So how can we organize a collection of tables and views that will be useful for our organization? So then we can organize things such as, put together all the elements that will tell me how the cost for our project is, how we are performing in terms of cost. Or let's put together a view and a table and a collection of elements that will tell me, or will tell all of the project managers, how our schedule is performing. Are we on time? Are we delivering our project the way we have planned? So we can organize the things based on topics, right? Then we have the project reporting, which is a subset of communication. So reporting is a kind of subset of communication. It's also going to be communicating to our project managers and to our organization how our project is performing. But this is a more visual thing. It's going to be providing more information. It's going to be providing more detailed information. And then using this, we will be able to take corrective actions, to take proactive actions, and get our projects back on track if needed. Finally, we will have additional elements that can be used in our organization. So for example, if I'm setting up a project schedule to be used in our organization, we could be creating a customized ribbon. So then we have, the buttons and the commands available, or the ones that we use the most. We could also customize our quick access toolbar, and we could also, at the end of the day, create a project schedule that will reflect the regular WBS that we use in our organization. So there are some organizations that use, for example, I would say a template with a collection of activities, I would say, this is going to be like a collection of activities that will always happen as soon as we are getting started with a project. So maybe we are, opening up the project chart, and we are creating the project scope, and we are validating the team, and we are organizing the resources, and we are identifying the stakeholders and things like that, right? We are creating the WBS, and we are defining the scope and things like that. So in order to present you with an example of how all of those things could be organized, I have created another project here. So I will just close this one. All right. And I will be opening up this one, which is something very simple that I prepared, but will give you an example or an idea of the things that we should be paying attention to. So I have this project schedule template. And this is pretty much how we could be organizing things. So first, if we go to the project options, I click here on File, and then I go to Options, and then I go to Schedule. So as you can see, all of my tasks, they are auto-scheduled. So as soon as a new task is created, it's going to be auto-scheduled right away, because that's the main thing that we should be doing. That's the way we should be working. Also, my default task type is fixed, should be fixed work, not fixed units. So fixed work, because in the consultancy world that I work, the consultancy world that I work, we are always paying attention on how many hours we are using, and we are always paying attention on how resources are being used throughout the project. So we keep an eye on capacity and things like that. So we use the fixed work as something in common to this schedule, or to all the schedules that we work. Something else that we do, if I go to project and then go to change working time, I will see that I have all of my holidays here. They are all organized. So I have my Christmas, I have New Year's, I have Memorial, I have Independence Day. So everyone that uses this schedule to get started with a new project, they would then have the ability, or they would have this information right away, meaning they won't have to spend time creating their holidays, because this is what has been defined, and this is what our organization uses. Also, I have created some custom fields. So I have a custom field that's called schedule indicator. I click formula. I have all of the formulas here. This is going to be the formula that all PMs in our organization should be using. So this is how we would set this up. Of course, that we could create like a cost indicator, a work indicator, and any other custom fields that might be useful for our organization. I have also another one here, which is a number that I called percent of finish variance. So I have a formula here that calculates the percent of finish variance as well. In addition to that, I have created a new table, which I called schedule status. So I'm using the pound sign here to identify that this is a custom table. And if I click edit, I see all the information which is available in the table, all the information that has been placed in the table. So I know that the table has status, the status indicator that I created is being used. I have baseline finish and baseline start. I have the percent of finish variance, which are the custom fields that my organization is using. So then, after creating this table, I also created a view that's called schedule status. So I could easily click here and get a quick status of how my project is performing in terms of schedule. Of course, that as I said, I could create a cost status, I could create a work status, I could create many different options here and many different views, all of them supporting and assisting the process in place in our organization, all of them being directed to the topic that we would like to talk about. So this, in this case, is schedule status, but it also could be cost status, work status, so on and so forth. And finally, I have here my reports. So I have created a few custom reports which are available in this project. So I can navigate, for example, to my report called project summary. Here is how the report has been organized. I also have a report which is called, let me click here on custom, schedule summary. And it's going to be providing me the schedule summary for my project. I also have a report that's milestones. So I see the list of all milestones for my project. So this is all available at the same file, and this is going to be the standard file that we will be using in our organization. Once this is finished, once I am done with all of the configuration that should be in place, I can just click File, and then I can save this. Let me save as. And I will say, this is going to be placed in a directory of our organization that everyone has access to. So for example, I have here my Sensei Project Solutions folder in SharePoint. So I would be able to say, if we as an organization, if Sensei as an organization wants to use, or if we are going to use this project schedule as a golden standard for people to get started with, this is where we'll be saving this information, and this is where people should get started from. So I will be saving this here, and I will call this project schedule template, but I will change this. Instead of being an MPP file, it's going to be an MPT file, which is project template, right? And I will call this Sensei project schedule template. So it's going to be a template. And after this is saved, what I should be doing is I should be just cleaning up baseline values or fixed work, fixed costs, and things that are going to be, should be just cleaning up from my project schedule. Once I do this, this is going to be available for people for general use, and then I should orient, I should tell, I should share with all project managers in my organization that moving forward, all new schedules should get started from this template. They should always get started from this template because this presents them with the golden standard that we should be using in our organization. So let me just go back here to the presentation. I wanted to open up for questions. Let me see here. I do not see any questions coming from the audience. But what I would like to share with you is if you'd like to get a view or get your eyes on the project schedule that I just showed with all the elements, all the custom formulas, and and all the views and reports and everything, I will be sending this over to you. Just reach out to me through email, and I can definitely share this with you, so then you have a starting point to get started with. For those of you who didn't see my email at the very beginning of the presentation, let me just put it on here. Yes, so that's my email address. If you want to receive a copy of this slide deck, the email address that you should be firing is rafael.santos@senseiprojectsolutions.com. I can definitely share this file with you guys. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this session, and I will be seeing you in the next week. We have lots of different topics coming in the next year. I said next week, but next year. So 2019 is going to be a very good year for us. We have plenty of ideas to be sharing with you guys, and we will be keeping these monthly webinars. So I hope to see you all in there, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye bye.